So this message is in regards to a young lady who had made a comment. I had a couple of weird comments. Now, it's funny. I'm going to actually respond to a couple of comments because I realized over this past week how bad it was. I've had some great comments too, and I actually realized that I've got some followers out there and some people that are in my corner that I didn't even realize that were out there, and I'm so grateful for your support. You have no idea. But I've been going through a situation where I had cancer. I have cancer and Leo and 0 degrees of Virgo, most of 0 degrees of Virgo in my 7th house. And it turned out that this new moon in Virgo that just happened at 0.23 degrees, which it fell technically inside of my 7th house and not inside of my 8th house of money. And I actually made a video. I'm going to make a short of what the video was, but I had actually made a video and talked about this. So the thing is, there was so much emphasis in my 7th house. What does that mean? I talked about this in another video I just made, but that was really more about relationships. I just want to really play out talk about the part of the 7th house that deals with enemies. And sometimes it's not the enemies you expect. It's not enemies that are purposeful. No, it's also partnerships. So this also is a time when you could get more partnerships, more collaborations, more business, improve your customer service, your business, more business proposals or offers that could happen. You could get proposed to when there's a lot of emphasis in the 7th house. That could be a potential marriage partner, someone that is really in your corner, that wants to be your other half, or you might be living with that person maybe. But to me, it's the enemies, because I've got Mars in Leo in the 7th house anyway, and so it's always signified my enemies. Also, I've got the North Node there in Cancer. It's at 29 degrees, so it's a fate degree that it's at almost 0 degrees of Leo, but it's in Cancer. Isn't that weird? So my South Node is in my 1st house at 29.44 degrees of Capricorn. Not Aquarius, but Capricorn. But they're both in my 1st house, like Aquarius and Capricorn. It's been a really painful South Node to deal with, and North Node. And with my Mars in the 7th house, it's really difficult for me to put all that emphasis in the 7th house like I would or should or could. I feel like I've done my best by offering my services as an astrologer. My 1st house has an Aquarius intercepted in it, so like the astrologer is buried deep within me, in my personality. It's literally, I was 16 when I learned astrology, 17 when I got my first customer. That's part of my spirit now. I'm in my 60s now. So my whole life, right? I feel that the 7th house gives us an opportunity to explore other people. Some people in this world are they live with maybe another person. Well, They might be in a marriage well. They might have lots of friends, in othering in that way, or lots of partners, or in that way. But then there are some people who are individualists, who will fight for their right to be an individual and to make an independent individual decision. Those are people with a lot of emphasis around the first house. I am one of those people. I've got my chart ruler in the first house and my Mercury speaking. As you see, I put myself out in the only way I know how, which is through communication. I don't do much else. And maybe that habit was developed many years ago. I was once a disc jockey, but I was also in a wheelchair for 7 years of my life and was just completely housebound. And I think during that time, astrology really became important to me, because it was something I could do on the internet with other people. And it really helped me to connect outside of the four walls that I was in. I had no idea when I first started online that I would, end up losing 370 pounds. I think my first YouTube website was Dance and Slim Down. I don't know if you can still find that anywhere. But in Dance and Slim Down, I think I was still 300 and something pounds. So you could kind of see my journey. But a lot of emphasis has been in my first house. Pluto, for 20 years, almost sat in my first house. It's still in my first house. Pluto's in Aquarius in my first house. So I've got another 20 some years. But it was sat in my first house for at least 13 years. And that's a long time to have something like Pluto in your first house. It's been hard, but I've worked through it, and I've lost 370 pounds. That's a lot of weight to lose. I try to put it in perspective, but it's hard. I could raise my arm and show you the flab under my arm, but I don't want to scare people away. It's actually frightening. I literally, I always joke and say my waist is the size my arm used to be. My arm used to be huge. And that changes a person. And Pluto in the first house is known for changing people. It's also known for creating anger in the person. And I feel like for a long time I've been living in anger and suppressing the anger and trying to live with the anger and deal with the anger. And I think one of the things I learned is that you can't suppress anger. It's just best to let it out. Like, don't suppress your anger. It'll come out in some other way, some weird way. So you might as well just let it out. It's going to come out. So some of y'all might look at me and go, wow, that woman is so dry, or I don't know what you think about me. I don't know. Share, by the way, whatever you think about me. It'd be interesting. Other than the, whatever my coloring is. Because that was, I think, what I had first started, how I felt picked on. I recently felt picked on the internet. I felt picked on the internet for a while. And the only comforting thing there is to know that even the brightest of stars get picked on, because the things they say about people like Beyonce and I just talked about Cardi B's marriage in the video I just made. So I mean, the more you're out there, the more likely someone's going to see you, and they're going to make snap judgments about you, and try to determine who they think you are. And This one girl said something I had, was in one place I had posted, and there's been, and I even hate bringing up this subject. Oh, it's a horrible subject. But we've got something going on in our Black community. We do. Oh Lord, here I go. I'm gonna open up this can. I manage a group called Black Women Promote. I mean, I'm one of the admins there, and I've got 400 friends out of 26,000 women. Now, what do you think is making that happen? I think I've had people take offense to my coloring since I was born. One of the first things I remember hearing is nothing worse than seeing a yellow child with nappy hair. And y'all can get mad at me all you want. I remember once a group turned on me for saying something about my, end quote, air quote, nappy hair. I showed my hair and they got mad at me. They're like, that ain't no 4B hair, that's 3-something hair. And I'm like, I don't have no 3-something hair. But to them, I guess it was too good of hair. They was just looking at my coloring. I don't have good hair. My hair just responds good with products. Okay, some people's hair responds really well. My hair responds really well with product. Like, good products will make, Secret by Beyonce has given me good hair. Everywhere I put Secret on it, my hair is gorgeous. It's that Beyonce, you really work. I just want to say. I mean, she's expensive and all get out, but I had gotten some Secret for a present, and I've been using them little drops of serum on my edges, because my edges, after wearing wigs for 20, 30 years, were beat up. I wasn't proud of my edges, but I'm proud of my edges. I've been like going out with a little twist. I've been thinking I'm cute. I'm just saying, okay. Beyonce's Secret actually works. But anyway, I always had an issue about my coloring, y'all, my whole life. It's not like this is new. I was lucky, though, when I was younger. I played out in the sun all the time. And I was, for the most part, brown. I mean, I was never yellow. I was always yellow, okay? And you know what most people call yellow people. There's always those yellow folks in every family. There's always some yellow folks in every family, right? Every family gets them. And y'all, I don't know my daddy. I can't tell you who my daddy is. I just know when my daughter did the 23andMe, there's all kind of, stuff in me. I gotta be. Way too much Scottish was found. Weird that the Black Scottish got found out, but we found a bunch of us, so, the 23andMe and Taínos, the Spanish, which my grandma told me my dad was Spanish. But I don't know. He might have been mixed with something. I don't know who that man was. I never met that man. I don't know my daddy. I was raised by a Puerto Rican man who I called daddy. But that wasn't my blood daddy. So I identify as Puerto Rican. My grandmother told me my real dad's Puerto Rican. But I don't know who my real daddy is. I just got a whole bunch of crazy stuff in my baby's 23andMe. Like, I don't know who my daddy is. I just don't. But I know I've always been weird colored. And someone had said to me, girl, something about you're so pale, you bleach. LOL. I do not bleach. I never did nothing. I wake up and go to bed. That's what I do. I use Proactive Plus. I shower, weekly, or often, daily, or whenever I can. I try to, with Proactive Plus, there's like the little skin, revitalizes the scrubber. It gives a little scrub on your skin, so keeps the dead skin cells going. I know for a fact is what Angela Bassett uses. Now, let me tell you a history lesson. Angela Bassett used to be the spokesperson for Proactive back in the day. And then she went off and made her own brand of skincare. I started using Proactive almost 30 years ago when I saw Angela Bassett doing the Proactive. So it was around the same time. That's when I started using it. That's why I know it's from Proactive. Okay, it was in the 90s, like 97. Okay, that's when I started using Proactive. And this is the skin I have. It's not perfect skin either. I don't know where y'all getting that from. But as you see, my skin all over is this color. I'm not one of those makeup women. I don't even have a filter on right now. I'm just using a regular old screen right now. Okay, no filter here. I don't have to do that. I've always been weirdly colored. Okay. Even in my own family. The only other people that were my color, I had a cousin Dickie who was yellow, my cousin Simone whose mother was half white, and my cousin Sue got dark in later life, and her brother Jimmy, but my uncle Jimmy is half white, and my mother had blue eyes. I mean, I don't know who I am. I know this is me. I know when I was little, I was obviously weird because my cousin used to squeeze my nose and laugh because he's like, how did a black person's nose turn red? I can make it turn red right now. See? It's just part of it's who I am. Not everybody bleaches. And I want to tell you something. When I was little or younger, I would say around 12, 13, I remember going out my backyard with Crisco oil sitting in the sun because my cousin had found this girlfriend named Pat, and I might have been about 12 maybe. In my opinion, she was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen in my life. Her skin was the most beautiful skin, and it was dark, deep, like this dark almond chocolate. Like I can't even express it. It was so beautiful. And I always dreamed like if I went out in the sun, I would get this beautiful dark skin tone like her. Well, I didn't get her skin tone, but I did get a nice tan. I was dark, not dark, but brown most of my teenage years. I was always out in the sun. Always. Never had any problem. No one used to call me Michael Jackson. They would call me Yella, you know. Hey, Yella girl. You think you this because you yellow. They always had a problem with yellow people. But there's always been yellow people in the African American community. We didn't just show up. It didn't just show up all of a sudden because people start bleaching. I don't even know what they do to bleach. I have no idea how they do it. We sitting here watching Serena do it right now. Serena then almost my color. I've been this color my whole life. I don't know how these dark girls do that. That ain't me though, y'all. Don't come to me with that mess. That is not me. I'm just someone who is other colored. Whatever that is. Y'all call it bleaching. And it just probably looks worse because I go with the pale hair. You know, when I wear the dark hair, y'all call me Michael Jackson. That's how I know I've always been oddly colored. You go back 6, 7, 8 years. I've been on here, what, 7, 8 years? They were calling me Michael Jackson back then when I used to have the dark hair. It's why as I lost weight, I got my colors done. You know, what'll look better on me, what colors are best for my astrology sign, all that stuff. I'm a blonde. I'm a natural blonde. Okay, I do better with those colors. It's less stark. It's less striking. It's easier on the eye. You know, and especially as I get older and I'm dealing with gray hair. Don't have to worry about it as much. Just saying. There's little issues that have nothing to do with vanity. It has to do with aging and convenience, stuff like that. But as far as my coloring, what choice do I have, right? This is my color. This is God gave me. I don't do nothing, you guys. I'm telling you, I'm proactive. I am the most homebody woman you're ever going to meet. I am at home right now. I'm a homebody. I have a daughter I love with my whole life. And I followed my daughter to college. I did. That's how I ended up here in Seattle. I mean, I'm just a mom, pretty much. That's why when I do my readings, you might feel like I'm kind of momming you. You know, I kind of mom when I read. I don't mean to do that. It's my nature. I could be somebody else, but then that wouldn't be real and that wouldn't be fun, would it? I mean, I can make AI, as you can, anyone who becomes a member will see that I've got AI in there. But I want to bring myself, who I am. And who I am doesn't bleach. And if there is a bleach, I don't even know what I would need it for at this point, because I'm pale as all get out. Poor Black person. I'm one of those person who don't know nothing about that stuff, because I never have to worry about none of that stuff. It's called pale. And it ain't even winter, y'all. It's the dead of summer. This is me with a tan. This is me with a tan, y'all. I'm thinking I'm doing something, and someone's gonna tell me I'm bleaching. I think I got a tan. Y'all don't even understand. I think I'm doing something. Oh man, this is messed up. Y'all don't even get it. Yes, it's silly. And we are